he's heading for that small moon.
I think I can get him before he gets there. He's almost in range.
That's no moon. It's a space station.
It's too big to be a space station.
In most mythic tales, the hero and his comrades must take part in an epic battle. The Star Wars saga draws on iconic images of good and evil to evoke a mechanized empire on the verge of crushing democracy.
In order to make the Empire seem particularly evil, Lucas calls the Emperor's troops stormtroopers, which were, of course, Hitler's personal bodyguards. He uses the black, white, and red when he shows the Empire, and in fact, those were colors that Hitler liked and used for what was called the blood flag, a symbol of the Third Reich.
When you look at Darth Vader with what looks like what they call the upside-down coal kettle of the German helmet, those were very powerful symbols of evil in America. It took you instantly to the dark side as soon as you saw that shape of that helmet or heard the phrase stormtroopers.
Symbolically, the mask really represents someone who's lost their humanity. So they are just going to do what they're told.
To your stations.
But not necessarily what's right.
In Star Wars, the rebel resistance and the heroic guardians of the Old Republic embrace diversity. In contrast to the uniformity of the Empire and the Sith.
The Empire is sterile and lifeless. There are no women in the Empire anywhere.
If the scanners pick up anything, report it immediately.
And this may be because women are associated with life, the power of life-giving, with nature.
You are part of the Rebel Alliance and a traitor. Take her away!
All of which are things that are opposed to the Empire, as it is based on death, destruction, and violence.
Master Windu, how pleasant of you to join us. This party's over.
It's the resistance of the champions of diversity, and they're not just ethnically various, they're zoologically various, against the enforcers of uniformity.
In that sense, if you go back and look at the Cold War, where the United States had reached across the planet from Japan and South Korea to Europe, there was a very broad coalition of people representing many different value systems and structures, but who had collectively concluded that they didn't want a Soviet tyranny imposed on them.
Many people like to read the Soviet Union as the empire, but I think that Lucas was thinking of the empire in the original film, A New Hope, as the system, the man. The monolithic, faceless side of power that's threatening to squelch us all.
Joseph Campbell thought that perhaps the great moral question of our time is, will we live for the machine, or will we live for humanity?
Magnificent, aren't they?
And he thought the Star Wars films presented this in stark contrast.
In Star Wars, technology is symbolic of the loss of humanity. We see that in Darth Vader's robot body that displaces his human existence. Or the Imperial walkers, the Imperial cruisers, or the Death Star itself.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe. I suggest we use it.
The Death Star looks like a planet, but it's not. It's a machine.
And when you go inside of it, it's hollow. And so it shows you that the heart of that society is completely hollow.
Continue with the operation. You may fire when ready.
What?
You're far too trusty. Dantooine is too remote to make an effective demonstration, but don't worry. We will deal with your rebel friends soon enough.
No.
Commence primary ignition.
And we are torn about technology. When Homer wrote about the ancient Greeks battling, they had the power to destroy one another, but they could not destroy the whole world.
Lucas uses machines to great effect, and the fact that it's how humans use them that makes the difference of whether it's good or it's bad. It's true of our computers. It's also true of a gun.
So uncivilized. The rebels obviously use technology too. They have spaceships too. They're happy to use it.
Moving to attack position.
But the rebels win, not through superior firepower, but because they trust in something larger than themselves.
Luke, trust your feelings.
And right at the conclusion of Episode 4, A New Hope, you see this very clearly.
Use the Force, Luke.
Where Luke turns off his targeting computer, doesn't trust in the technology, but trusts in the Force, and this allows him to destroy this huge machine, which the Empire did not suspect.
The irony is that so much of what happens in Star Wars could not have been done if you turn the machines off. So it ends up being about the relationship, the balance between who we are, what our intent is, and the technology, the tools we use to realize that intent.
Great shot, kid. That was 1 in a million.
I think the message is don't rely on the technology. Rely on yourself.
Star Wars touches the ancient theme. This has been repeated time after time after time with history. Recognize that even after evil has risen and is full force on, that the best that's in us is to resist that, and that one person can make a difference.